know it's week 16. We know.
Technical difficulties.
Yes, lots of technical difficulties today, including we can't figure out how to get Jimmy's mic to work. So you'll hear him come out of my audio. I got him on the phone here, and you'll see what he's saying. Yeah. So last week, the week of the Indianapolis Colts.
Biggest comeback in NFL history.
Yeah.
33-0 at halftime.
Saturday, apparently.
So we were actually watching that with Shaw, and he left at halftime. And he was like, "Oh, game over. Gonna do some stuff."
Yeah, Shaw left at halftime.
Comes back. I mean, he doesn't come back until the Bills game later. And wow.
Yeah, he definitely
what a
missed. Game. He missed probably the worst game in recent memory for the Colts. That game takes the cake as far as the worst coaching performance I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, I Saturday at the end of the first half, it looked like, oh, he might earn this job, but no chance, no way.
Yeah, so on the bright side though, there was something positive that happened for the Colts this weekend. They no longer have the worst play in NFL history. Pat McAfee's fourth
Patriots.
down. Yeah, Pat McAfee's fourth
they're
down
both
attempt.
Pretty bad in their own right.
Right. I think Jacoby Myers now holds the single worst play in NFL history. Mac Jones, a part of that, obviously. I seriously have no idea what he was thinking. Like, the lack of awareness was ridiculous. The throw backwards 30 yards, and it wasn't even a good throw. Mac Jones had no chance. It was right to Chandler Jones.
I hate to blame Ramadre, but why pitch it back in the first place?
Well, at that point, Ramadre had made something happen. Maybe he pitches it to Myers, and Myers runs and makes something happen. I don't think Ramadre thought that Jacoby Myers was going to throw the ball back 30 more yards.
Yeah, but I think he did end up taking a little bit of accountability there. But, still, no reason to throw it back. Play for overtime, try and win the toss, and play defense. Their defense is pretty good.
Yeah, speaking of defenses, we actually have a question in the comments about defenses. What fantasy defense are we starting between Denver at the Rams, Tennessee versus Houston, and Cleveland versus New Orleans? I actually like the Broncos in this one against the Rams. If we want to actually go ahead and make our picks for this game, even though it is, not necessarily a huge one this week, Broncos and Rams. I actually am starting the Rams defense in fantasy this week. But if those are the teams you're choosing between, I would honestly go with the Broncos. They've been top 10 defense all year. The defense is the only part of their organization that's functional right now. They keep them in games. So I like the Broncos to win the game, but I also like their defense.
Absolutely. I think their defense will be good. And I will say you have the Tennessee versus Houston. And, Houston has been holding their own on offense for sure in the past couple weeks. So, what would have been a great defense maybe, week 8 to week 12, it looks like they're kind of picking it up now.
Yeah, if we want to talk fantasy, you and I are both in the Final Four, not playing each other. So we could have a chance to meet up.
Knock on wood, obviously. We gotta get there first.
Yeah. So what I also like that Red Zone's on Saturday this week.
That will be really good.
The Colts are getting a chance to redeem themselves on Saturday. Oh, wait, they're not. They play Monday Night Football.
Yep, and they're gonna get spanked. Unless, the Chargers Charger.
Nick Foles is the starting quarterback for this one. I don't know if everyone heard, but Matt Ryan shut down for the year. John Taylor shut down for the year. The Colts are basically shut down for the year because Kenny Moore's out for the season, Darius Leonard's out for the season, Shaq Leonard's out for the season, and ultimately the Colts are gearing up for next year with what seems like will be a top 5 pick. We actually have a lot of good matchups this week. Tomorrow night, Thursday night football.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into that.
At the beginning of the season, I don't think anybody thought this would be considered a good matchup, but I actually like Jags Jets.
So how do you feel about the Jags are plus 1.5 at home?
I like the Jets to win.
I like that too. I don't think Jacksonville, they've been hot as of late, but Jets have a really good defense. And, the over-under on this game is 36. So,
I just think that could go either way. Wilson, I don't think they need, against the Jaguars especially, I don't think they need Zach Wilson to play well. I just think they need him to not play poorly. Like, obviously, Mike White's likely out for this one. The Jets didn't play well last week against the Lions and lost. They had, I want to say, like 40 rushing yards. So we'll see if they can bounce back. I'm starting Bam Knight this week, so let's hope. Obviously, let's hope.
Yeah. Pray to God Michael Carter does not get those touches.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a pretty good matchup for Thursday night. I like the Jets to win that one. Then starting this Saturday, 1:00 slate, we got Lions Panthers, which could be a playoff preview.
I mean, Panthers are very much in it. Lions are really in it right now. I mean, they're gearing up for a playoff spot. I think the Vikings clinched the division, if I'm not mistaken. But we will see.
With the win against the Colts, the Vikings clinched.
Yeah, most definitely.
We also had a few other clinchers this past weekend. Buffalo clinching a playoff spot. The Dolphins they did not look good, honestly. They're on the fringe of making the playoffs, and who would have thought about 5 weeks ago that they'd be in this position? Yeah, honestly, I thought the Dolphins had a chance of winning their division. Now it's kind of like they're a little bit struggling. Jalen Waddle, without that touchdown last week, the offense would not have had pretty numbers, and ultimately they really don't look the way they did week 6. Yeah, I mean, they were hot, and it feels like the brakes are kind of pushing right now, and the wheels are kind of falling off. Ooh, we got a question about NBA or NHL prize picks props for tonight. Interesting. We're definitely big NBA guys. I haven't had a chance to check out the prize pick lines, but we'll definitely get on that and have an answer for you soon. In terms of, and then another comment, someone's in the championship game. Rodgers, Amari, Godwin, Pollard, McKinnon, Okwongo, Cousins, Tucker, San Francisco, Micah Parsons. Love an IDP league. You got to love an IDP league. So is your comment cut off? Who's the guy that you're trying to beat? Yeah, I don't know. I think the comment is cut off. I don't know who he's trying to beat, but that's a pretty solid team. Great pickup. You probably got McKinnon off waivers, so that was probably huge. Okonkwo too. He's been good. Double QB league also. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is an eight-man league. We'll have to see the other guy's team, but especially because that's definitely a solid lineup. It's 8 to 10 likely because the championship games are next week for 12-man leagues. I only play in the 12-man league, so I'm not really sure. Yeah. So let's move on to another matchup. The Saturday slate. It sounds weird saying that. Saturday. That'll be fun. Well, let's talk about Bengals Patriots. Who do you like in that one? So, I would honestly take the over in this game. I think Ramadre. I mean, the Bengals have a pretty good rush defense, but Ramadre is kind of like Chubb in a sense, where I think he's just going to run all over this Bengals defense. So I would probably take the over in this game because the Bengals are going to be the Bengals, and then Ramadre is, he's going to get touches. He's going to get about 25 to 30 touches. He's going to do something special. I agree. I actually really like T. Higgins to score a touchdown in this game. Everyone's expecting the Patriots to come back and have really like that bounce back game because of how they played and finished that game against the Raiders. I don't think these are those Patriots. Like we're not dealing with the Tom Brady, Belichick Patriots that we saw for all those years. Like this is just a normal football team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mac Jones is clearly very frustrated with the offensive coordinators and what they've been doing throughout the season. And I mean, let's see if he just plays out of his mind or just, is angry on the sideline again.
Yeah, I think when things are going well and the offense is executing, he's not upset. And when the offense isn't executing, he's upset. So I think like in terms of that, it's on Mac to actually execute.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go another game. We got the Seahawks on the road this week. So no 12s.
And yeah,
no
the
12s,
Chiefs,
no 12s for the Seahawks in Kansas City against the Kansas City Chiefs.
-10.
Ooh, we just got another question before you dive into this pick.
Yeah, let's look at this.
Would we bench Michael Pittman for Bam Knight, full PPR? And then also Goddard or Freiermuth full PPR. Definitely Freiermuth over Goddard coming off the IR. You don't know what kind of production.
Even though Freiermuth did put up a dud last week, he put up 0.
Right, like Goddard coming off the IR, you don't know what his snap count's going to be. You don't know, if they're even going to call his number. I think with Gardner Minshew, they're really just worried about winning the game, not necessarily working Goddard back in, which would have been the focus had Hurts been under center. In terms of the Pittman or Bam Knight, I like Bam Knight. As I said, I'm starting him in my semifinal matchup this week. I think he's shown, other than last week against the Lions, but Bam Knight's shown that he's a 10-point floor against an average defense. The Lions have been an elite rushing defense over the last 6 weeks. So Knight's like a 10-point floor against average defenses. So I kind of like Bam Knight over Michael Pittman, especially because the Colts are essentially shutting down all their star players for this season. Side note, one of my boys saw Michael Pittman at Dick's today. So Michael Pittman wasn't at the Colts facility. He was at Dick's Sporting Goods. So
Pittman's going to Pittman.
Yeah. So that's another Bam Knight positive there. Oh,
all right. So we got the team that Thomas is playing against. I mean, it looks like you got your work cut out for it.
Yeah, I mean, what's the second place prize in your league?
Yeah, I mean,
because
that's might be what you have to look at.
Because personally,
you definitely have the quarterback upgrade, but that team is really good.
He actually might have you beat at every single position.
I think you might have quarterback.
I don't know. I think Prescott.
But his running backs.
Prescott and Rodgers.
Najee's been inconsistent, but he's been pretty good of late.
Right. Well, you have the better second quarterback though with Kirk Cousins, and he's got Geno Smith.
For sure.
And you have a better defender with Micah Parsons. He has Olakun.
Yeah, I like Micah Parsons. He's probably been.
Yeah. So I don't know how IDP has really scored in your league. So I guess that would have a big impact on how we like your chances here. But in terms of the position players,
that'll be a fun matchup. You got your work cut out for you.
Yeah. We got another one: Chargers or Browns defense, and Everett, Johnson, or Okonkwo. So Tannehill's out for the season. That was just announced moments ago.
I would say Johnson, honestly.
So yeah, I like Johnson also. It seems like Andy Dalton has no other targets at this point in the season. So I don't know.
And Johnson's been really he's been a
Johnson's
touchdown
been consistent.
guy. I mean, he's
the thing with Everett
6
though,
touchdowns in the past 8 weeks.
Everett's getting a lot of targets in that Chargers offense. Oh, Thomas appreciates our
absolutely Thomas.
Our positivity surrounding.
Best of luck.
Chances.
I mean,
look,
we really hope the best.
Yeah, we wish you the best. Honestly, whoever that you're going against has really he did his work this year.
Yeah, I mean he clearly did some stuff.
Top 5 running back in Derrick Henry, top 5 receiver in Jefferson, solid wide receiver to Metcalf. Like Najee's questionable, but that's a tough team to beat with Amari and Godwin and Pollard and McKinnon. Like
Mari had a bad week last week, but I think he has had a really
making
good
your
season.
Here's the thing. I would say whichever team, this is for Thomas, by the way, whichever team scored worse last week, I'd feel more confident going into this week, because especially in the fantasy playoffs, like there's a reason you're in the championship. So like if your guys underperformed last week, then I would feel really good, especially like if like Derrick Henry had a big week last week. So I expect him to.
I'm in the position where I was in the quarterfinals last week and I had a really good week and my opponent had an awful week. So I'm like, yeah, I had a great week, but I really want to keep that consistent.
Like for me, I had a pretty average week and my opponent had a pretty average week. So we really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we're projected pretty close, but obviously the projections don't matter. All right.
I was projected to lose by 10. I won by 45.
I want to go back and answer Christopher's question. Do we have any NBA picks for tonight? Yes, we do. We like Jason Tatum over 28.5 points against the Pacers. And then Donovan Mitchell under 26.5 points against the Bucks. I think the Bucks-Cavs game is an under lock tonight. You know, both teams have really good defense, and I think it's just going to be a lower scoring matchup. And so Donovan Mitchell will probably have more limited opportunities to score. And Tatum obviously didn't play in the last game because of Deuce's 5th birthday party.
Yes. I mean, so he'll be back and ready to go.
Right. So that was our quick NBA update.
I'm going to look at some NHL stuff.
But in terms of the NBA though, like I personally like the NBA is great. I love basketball, but I can't get fully invested into the NBA until March
finals,
Madness, until
semifinals, right, conference finals,
until March Madness ends. Like NFL has my attention now, and then college basketball has my attention through March Madness. We got a pick 2, ETN, Rashad White, and Ken Walker. That's easy. ETN and Ken Walker.
Even though Ken Walker has been practicing.
Yeah, just because of snap percentage over their backup.
And then for Tyler, I would say, me personally, Chargers defense. It looks like the Colts have kind of given up. Who are the Browns playing?
This week the Browns have the Saints.
So the Saints have actually been looking pretty good as of late.
And a team like the Browns, they lose games they're supposed to win. Like, and then they play really well against better teams in the league. So I actually think the Saints are going to go into Cleveland and win this game. Even though they're 5-9. Like the Browns wins this year are quality. I know it's tough to say because they're the Browns, but they beat the Bengals by 19. They beat the Bucks, who I guess aren't that fantastic. They beat the Ravens, and then they have wins against the Texans, who are okay, the Steelers, who are okay, the Panthers, who are okay. But they're losing against bad teams. They lose to the Bears. They lose to the Jets, who I consider a bad team, even though they're 7-7. They got blown out by the Patriots. So it's like, I like the Saints to win this game, especially with the Browns coming off a win last week against the Ravens, in which they really didn't look that good.
And a thing that I like to do in fantasy, so if I were to start Juwan Johnson, like the question was Juwan Johnson, Everett, or Okongwu, right, I would start Juwan Johnson. I don't really like playing against the defense that they're playing against, because like if they score a touchdown, it's like, oh yeah, I scored 6, but I just lost 3.
Right.
So I would choose the Chargers defense for sure.
So and then we have another one. How do we feel about Swift this week? I think Swift's a bench for the rest of the season. You don't know what kind of production or snap count he's going to get. You're really counting on them to be down in the game and have to use him in the passing game, because Jamal Williams seems to be dominating the backfield and the carries.
Yeah, it's really just the sharing carries. That's the problem. He'll probably get in the end zone a couple more times this year, but you can't really bank on that. And you've seen his floor. Especially
because the rest of the season, like up until this point, you're playing player averages. Like you want to play someone every week. So at the end of the season, if they have like 200 points, you have all 200 of those points in your lineup. But the problem with playoffs is like it's all matchup based. Like you could have a guy who put up 20 all year, like Derrick Henry, and he could go up and put up 7 this week. But James Cook could put up 20 this week.
Yeah, like Swift is averaging 13, and his low is 7. So, the floor is there, and the floor is there recently, which is the problem.
Yeah. All right, Stiggs, let's move into your highs and lows for the week.
Highs and lows?
Yeah.
So my high, or my low, actually. I'm going to go with my low. I'm going to say DeAndre Hopkins under receiving yards. I don't know what this line is set at, but they're currently on the third string quarterback, Trace McSorley. He's not throwing it on a dime. Not every time. So it looks like I'm going to go under on there.
All right, and how about your high?
So my high.
Hopkins over under is 69.5.
Yeah, I think okay, so that's actually a pretty low line, but I still think he'll go under.
Yeah, I agree.
And my high is Tyreek Hill receiving yards.
Tyreek Hill's prop. Tyreek Hill's yards. We're looking at. Oh wow, you like his over?
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill's over. Wow, I don't know why this isn't loading, but
I think so. He's playing in Green Bay.
Yeah, if you had to guess, what would you say the line is while this thing loads up?
I would say like 73, 76.
76 is your guess.
I would say he's going to go over because I feel like the Packers defense is kind of soft in the secondary other than Jair Alexander.
Right.
But yeah, and I think he's proven he can play in the cold. He looks different as what Shaw was saying. He looks very different in the cold.
Yeah, he does. He does. He dresses differently.
Yeah, he does.
He looks totally uncomfortable out there. His receiving yards line isn't out yet. I don't think. I'm not seeing it here.
I'm going to try and get Zach on the phone. He has a pick. He said he wants to come on at 5:30.
Oh, lovely. How about James Cook in the meantime? I like James Cook long term. It's hard to know what he's going to do on a week-to-week basis because of Singletary, but Singletary is not under contract next week or next year. Next year. So I like James
His
Cook.
Keeper value. If you can keep your guys in your league, definitely keep him. Okay, so Marquise Godwin or Peoples-Jones?
DPJ.
Yeah, I would say so. Peoples-Jones, I would say, but there's apparently going to be heavy winds in the Browns game, so we'll have to see.
Hello?
Oh, we have Zach joined.
Zach is here.
Would you like to make your pick?
Yeah, I can make my pick. I did some thinking.
Well, your pick last week.
Yes, I know my pick last week.
It didn't hit.
It didn't hit. And it just is my David Montgomery pick that I made a week before. Scored 2 touchdowns. You just never know, really.
Yeah.
But I did some thinking, and I thought about who's playing who and who needs to win what. So the Packers aren't really great right now. However, betting wise, they do still get a lot of yards and they've been putting up points. And AJ Dillon looks like he's going to be out or with a serious designation. And Aaron Jones has been number 1 already. And he hasn't had a rushing touchdown in 4 games, but 5 weeks total. So I'm going to take Aaron Jones anytime touchdown, or if you want to get more specific, you can go Aaron Jones rushing touchdown. Just because I feel like AJ Dillon's not really going to get the time of day this week, and Aaron Jones has been getting more touches.
So is this your hammer play?
This would be something that I would hammer, just based on solely the fact that Aaron Jones is a tough guy and always gets the time of day, and especially with AJ Dillon not going to be playing or having a designation most likely, I think that would be
All right,
good
so
pick.
you heard it here, Sacks Hammer Play. And also, I just noticed that that's a soccer field.
Yeah. So AJ Dillon's in the concussion protocol, so we'll see more on that story. But either way, with a running back being in concussion protocol any week, they're not going to get, they're going to have to be careful, even if he's playing and he clears the protocol. But I guess we'll see if the story develops on whether or not Dillon's going to play or not.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on. I got to get back to what I was doing. So that's my pick.
Always good having you, Sack.
Yeah. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Sack.
Yep.
So back to these questions. We got, should I pick up Cook and drop someone? Yes, you should pick up Cook and drop Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, it really just depends on who you are dropping. If you want to respond and just say you're dropping.
Thomas sent his bench. It's Deshaun Watson, Miles Sanders, KJ Osborne, Olave, Johnson, and Hardman. Honestly, I would start Olave first of all. Personally, I like Olave.
Probably drop Hardman.
Yeah, I would drop Hardman or Deshaun Watson. And then we got another one, Godwin, Marquise Goodwin, Peoples-Jones, or Gabe Davis.
I would say probably Gabe Davis.
Yeah, I like Gabe Davis. It's honestly just because you want a chunk of that Bills offense. The only thing that worries me there is that it's going to be negative 15 degrees. They're proven
to play that they can play in the cold.
Right. So if you're willing to risk that cold temperatures and Gabe Davis's, ability in that, if you have to pick two, it's, ranking them 1, 2, 3, it's Gabe Davis, DPJ, and Marquise Goodwin. You don't want to play a wide receiver 3 on a running offense, especially in fantasy playoffs.
And then we got a question from DJ Duvernay. I hope you're doing all right after your injury in practice. He said Hopkins, Montgomery, or ETN. I would honestly say Montgomery and ETN because, the thing about Montgomery is Khalil Herbert is coming back this week, so he might be sharing a little bit more carries, but he's proven that he is the RB1 in the offense for sure.
Yeah, I actually like Montgomery and ETN also. You want the sure thing this week. Like, you could totally see DeAndre Hopkins go have a huge week, but I just don't think that's the most likely outcome with these games. They are playing at home, so weather's not a factor for D-Hop. But I like Montgomery and ETN. Yes, even though they're in a bad weather game, but I really don't think that matters. In terms of Minshew or Darnold, is there another option?
I would say Minshew out of those two for sure.
Yeah, if those are the choices, definitely Gardner Minshew. But if there's a third option, I would look into that. Tua or Trevor? Ooh,
that's a good one.
It's tough. I would say Tua normally, but it's hard because the Dolphins are playing in a cold weather game.
Well, but the Jets' defense is really good against quarterbacks.
Right.
So I think that'll be a tough matchup for Trevor, but I think he's proven that he really is just.
It's also on a short week. Like, you don't want to play. It's better to just have someone on a full week.
Yeah, honestly.
Even though Trevor has been better than Tua the past few weeks, I like the Dolphins, honestly, to play well against the Packers. Oh, no, the Dolphins game is home. They're at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dolphins are home. So, ride Tua.
I would say Tua for sure. The Jets' defense is just really good against quarterbacks and just good in general.
And you don't want to play someone on a short week. That's a big thing for me. Like, I'm questioning playing Bam Knight. The only reason I'm doing it is because he was like average last week at best.
He barely played, so he'll be ready.
Right. So
they're kind of saving guys.
Right. So I think my concern though is like he's not getting as much production with he's not going to get as much production because of Zach Wilson. Like, they are worse with Zach Wilson. Would we still bench Goodwin knowing Lockett's out with a broken finger? Yeah, I still consider him the third option. Like when I said wide receiver 3, I meant like he's the third option behind Fant and Metcalf.
Honestly, even behind Ken Walker in a sense.
Yeah.
Receiver.
So I
let me check his stats because he's averaging 8, which isn't bad.
Goodwin.
Yeah, but he had 3 last week.
Well, it's also because
he's very up and down. He had 3, 20, 2, 8, 11, 0. He didn't play.
Right. Well, that 20-point game bumps his average up.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a tough start. Let me look. I would definitely say Gabe Davis for sure.
The thing with Goodwin, though,
the Buffalo offense on your roster.
Yeah, Goodwin is probably still one of the fastest players in the league, though. So if he gets the ball in open space, like you could see him getting like a 60-yard touchdown in this game. I just don't think he's a top 4 option or top 3 option, as we said.
Let me say, if we make any wrong decisions, it's not our fault. We're just, No,
I'll take the blame. Honestly, if you guys rely on us for these fantasy decisions and they backfire, you can go ahead and tweet at us. We'll take it.
Yeah,
we'll take it.
We'll take it on the chin, but we might fire back.
Yeah. So moving on to some of these other Week 16 games, why don't we talk about the Giants and the Vikings?
Giants, Vikings. All right.
It's
in Minnesota, right?
Yeah. This is actually going to be my low of the week.
You think it's going to go under?
No. My low of the week is Saquon Barkley rushing yards.
Oh, wow. Well, that'd be ideal because I'm playing him in fantasy.
So I actually don't think the Giants are going to be in a position to be running the football this game. I think the Vikings are going to get up early, and so I think the Giants are going to have to be throwing to stay in it. And so Saquon's going to be involved, but he's not going to be involved in the run game necessarily because I don't think they're going to be in a position to be running the football. Pick 2, Swift, Knight, J.K. Dobbins.
So Dobbins for sure, as of how he's been playing lately. I know he's kind of been limping, but he's been good. And God, it's tough, those two.
I like Knight.
Honestly, Swift.
I like Knight.
Oh, we have disagreements.
Yeah. Why do you like Swift?
I just don't know. I think Bam Knight has kind of showed his floor last week.
Well, here's the thing though. The Lions defense since I want to say like week 7 or 8 hasn't allowed over 70 yards in a game.
Yeah.
Like rushing.
But
it's
tough.
So the Jags rushing defense is significantly worse than the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah, it really goes either way, honestly. Because you've seen the floor with Bam Knight.
Yeah, the other reason he wasn't playing too much in that Lions game, he suffered a leg injury. He was limping around on the sideline and was in the medical tent. So I
actually have my lock of the week.
Oh, your lock.
Actually be should I say it or you want to do the animation first?
I can animation first.
All right. All right, so my lock of the week is going to be Chicago, Buffalo, over 40.5. Chicago's proven that they're kind of an over team. They kind of been scoring a lot of points. Their defense is iffy. And then Buffalo, I know it's going to be cold, but they can play. And Chicago's tough too, so they can play in the cold as well. So this game is going to go over.
Yeah, I actually agree. I think people are scared of overs when it comes to cold weather, but I don't know if snow is expected in this game. I think it's just going to be cold.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
So I don't think we're dealing with like a blizzard snow game here. But I do agree. I like the over 40.5. That's low for a Bills game. It's low for a Bears game. The Bears don't have a defense, and the Bills have a great offense. So I don't know what the line. I don't know what we're thinking here. Last one: Dawson Knox or Dalton Schultz.
So Dawson Knox coming off a huge week, and then Schultz has just been consistently good as of when he's been back. I would take. It's tough because I think I'm going to see how the the Eagles do against tight ends.
How do the Eagles do?
Where is this team?
Yeah, I would start Chris Olave. I think he's been consistent all year long. I'd honestly consider starting him over Chris Godwin, who's been up and down all year. Amari Cooper I like in this game, but I do like starting Olave this week, especially because the Saints aren't really in the playoffs. So I think they're just going to be focusing on like building around their young guys who are actually going to be around next year. So we'll see what happens with that.
And with the Knox Schultz one, I would go with Knox. Schultz, it's going to be a good matchup, but the Eagles are really good against tight ends.
Yeah.
And Bears linebackers are very iffy. So,
all right. So it is. We have a Saturday slate, but there is still a 4:05 kickoff.
Oh,
it's like, why did they have to do that? But we got the commies. We got the commies and the Niners. Some Purdy magic. I think Purdy can lead the boys this week again.
Yeah, Purdy's been really good. The Commanders, they were looking really good. But yeah, I just don't know how they're gonna bounce back after losing a tough game. I mean, they're coached really well, but when you lose like that, that really stings. Either you're gonna play really well or you're gonna lose by 7 or more, right. And the 49ers are gonna cover.
We got another question: Najee, Kamara, or ETN? I hate to say it because I'm playing against him this week, but it's Kamara.
I would say Kamara and ETN.
Yeah.
Najee has been good at the last couple weeks. He's been scoring touchdowns.
Look,
but
I think Najee's just healthy again.
Yeah, he's been banged up still.
Right, so I think I like Najee, but it's hard to pick the Steelers' offense right now because they've been really average at best.
He's been scoring touchdowns too, but I mean, he's only been scoring 14, 15 points. And I mean, if he doesn't score these touchdowns, that's 4 and 9.
Right, so I like Kamara. Back to this whole Niners thing. I actually like Kittle to score 1 touchdown this week. I think Purdy relies on him now that Debo's out. The Niners had a team meeting before the game last week, and basically George Kittle was called out. And he performed. He popped off last week in the game. So I think he might be back, just like knowing that he was called out, and now he wants to like continue showing his teammates that he's going to perform.
Yeah, most definitely.
Let's move into our.
Let's
move into our scary selections.
Oh wow!
So my first scary selection is the Eagles money line in Dallas against the Cowboys. So the reason this is my scary selection is, honestly, I think everyone's just going to be so high on Dallas because there's no Jalen Hurts. But Gardner Minshew might be a top 2 backup in the NFL. I think him and Jeff Driscoll. Gardner Minshew is probably the best backup in the NFL. He has significant starting experience. I think he actually has a chance to not miss a beat, but skip a beat with, moving from Hurts to Minshew. I like Gardner this week, and I like the Eagles to upset the Cowboys.
Yeah. So I actually like that game too. I was going to say Philly +5.
Is your scary selection?
I was going to say that was a scary.
Right. +5 feels like a damn near lock.
It feels like a trap game, though.
Yeah. Oh, we got another question. Did we say Swift or Zonovan Knight? We were split.
But we'll set on Zonovan Knight.
Yeah, my thing with Knight is like just monitor his status coming into tomorrow night. He had a leg injury last week against the Lions. I would check Twitter. Mike Pelissero is normally pretty good for injury updates before the game.
Schefter.
Obviously Schefter also. So keep track of Zonovan Knight's status before the game. If he is not on the injury report before kickoff, I would say 100% Knight. If he's listed as questionable or doubtful, I would consider playing Swift just because of the extra recovery time. But then again, like Zonovan Knight is clearly the RB1 right now in New York. Like Michael Carter, nah. So I like Bam Knight. Definitely Jared Goff over Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I mean Goff's been very consistent over this year in fantasy.
The Lions' offense has been awesome.
Most definitely. Do we want to talk about that Detroit-Carolina game?
Yeah, I actually have a pick in this game. I like Jamal Williams over 1.5 touchdowns. I just think.
So 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think they're going to be in the red zone a decent amount, and so he gets.
I like that. And the Panthers' defense has been soft against running backs, clearly with Joe Mixon scoring 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, Thomas Taylor still might lose. His bench is Dolchich, Freiermuth, White, Pittman, Devontae, and Jackson. No cap, that bench might be better than your lineup.
Oh, come on.
Like,
it's Deshaun Jackson.
Okay. Well, no,
that's 2022.
That could be Deion Jackson.
Yeah, you're right. I hope it's Deshaun Jackson, though. People need to get Deshaun Jackson.
Like, Pittman and Smith are pretty similar caliber to Amari and Godwin.
They're a step below, but yeah.
They're just been really good this year. They're just slightly worse. Look, Thomas, we're rooting for you. We really are. We're rooting for you. But the more information you give us, my guy.
Hey, I've seen crazier things happen in fantasy football.
Yes, crazy things have happened. Like Jamar Chase putting up 75 points in the playoffs last year in the championship game. We got another one. Patriots, Bengals, or Browns defense. The Patriots. They score enough points to be an RB2 this year. The Patriots defense, matchup or not, it seriously doesn't matter that they're playing the Bengals because they actually score 12 points a game. Like the Patriots, they'll sack Joe Burrow enough to make up for the amount of points that are being scored.
Their pass rush is crazy.
Yeah.
They get in there really fast.
Yeah, Judon's great.
And they just have some young guys too that they just get after the quarterback in seconds. And you saw that against Derek Carr. I mean, I can't believe how that game ended. Crazy. And it was Deion Jackson, not Deshaun Jackson, which makes sense. Unfortunately, it wasn't Deshaun.
Yeah, too bad. Deshaun Jackson doesn't do anything but stare at the opponent's bench after a catch.
Yep. But he hasn't done that much this year.
That's his thing. I mean, are we ready to call Deshaun Jackson a celebrity player?
I think he is, somewhat. Because he's just so old at this point. They're like, oh, you played in 2008, bro. You were a dog.
Right. Like, he's a celebrity player 100% at this point. I feel like he's not even a real – like, he's like Steve Smith. He should be on NFL Network commenting about games.
Yeah, 100%. But he's not on that career path yet.
Yeah, I don't know what he's thinking still playing in the NFL. Like, obviously, he's got the love of the game, but it's like at 38, you just got to shut it down.
Yeah.
At Tom Brady.
So we said Johnson with the Everett or Okongwu. We want Johnson instead of Everett or Okongwu. That's just personal preference, though. I would say Everett's the next best option. But yeah, they are.
Yeah, honestly, I think it goes in the order that you sent it. Like Johnson, Everett, Okonkwo. I think Johnson's the most consistent out of the three. Everett has the highest upside.
I think Johnson has the highest upside, honestly.
Well, I was even going to say Okonkwo had the highest upside, but now that Tannehill's out for the season, it's hard to say what they're going to be with Malik Willis. Do you think Ryan Tannehill's tenure in Tennessee is over?
Maybe they give him another year. Maybe. I think he's still under contract.
Whatever happened to Odell?
Then let Malik Willis take over because I don't think Malik Willis is ready yet.
I agree Malik isn't ready. I don't know if Tannehill will ever take another snap for the Titans. I think they're going to move to Malik next year.
You think they'll? Well, I don't think he's ready next year.
And I don't think he is either.
I don't want them to ruin it.
Trey Lance was ready. I don't think Trey Lance was ready, and we saw the Niners move to him. I don't see Tannehill sticking around to be a backup.
Yeah. He's going to want to go somewhere else, and I don't know if he's going to be able to go somewhere else to be a starter unless, like, Indianapolis.
Jimmy G to the Titans.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh, he could start a spot start for Malik Willis. But still, I think
Jimmy G is the most elite spot starter in the NFL.
Absolutely. But he would want like a bigger contract with the Titans.
Right. I think Jimmy G would probably have to be the highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL. The Colts might make a play for Jimmy G.
Yeah, 100%. Jimmy G is going to be on the market, and he's going to be the hottest thing on the market.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Odell? Honestly,
that's the question I was looking at.
Here's my take on Odell. He isn't healthy yet, so he's not going to sign until he is because he wants the most possible money and years out of this contract. So he knows that if it doesn't pass his physical with the ACL, then he's not going to get as much money as he could if like people were dealing with real full health Odell Beckham. So I think the issue with OBJ is he's not going to sign until he can pass an ACL physical, which may not be for another.
I honestly think that's the big problem. He really can't play right now.
Right. So, and I don't think he wants people to know that he's not 100%.
Yeah.
So that's why he's not signing. We saw him maybe sign with Dallas, and then they said they were concerned about the ACL, and now here we are. He hasn't signed.
So maybe he's ready for the playoffs. That's still, 2-3 weeks away.
Right. Ultimately, he knows. He just needs to know a route tree. Like, he doesn't need to know at every play.
Yeah.
And you can just throw him in there and have him run a basic route tree.
He really doesn't even need to block. You can just put him in for passing plays.
Right.
Which kind of a giveaway, but
I mean, there's too much going on for teams to be worried, like personnel wise, matching personnel coverages and all that stuff. And so I don't think like Odell Beckham, as soon as he's healthy, fully healthy, he'll sign because he knows that's how he'll get the most money value out of whatever team he signs for. That being said, like, I don't know why he would want to go play for a team like Buffalo. Like, why not? Who cares about winning? I know he
just won last year,
right?
So
that's that's my
he just
point.
wants some money.
For Odell, like, who cares about winning? He should go play like for the Dolphins or something.
Yeah, get the most money. That'd be a fun team,
right? Like, imagine OBJ with Waddle and Tyreek.
That would be awesome.
Like, and you don't even need him. You could put him in on every play because all they do is throw.
Literally.
All right, so let's move into Sunday night or Saturday night football.
Let's move to Sunday and then
Saturday night football.
Out of here.
Saturday night football, Raiders Steelers. I actually like the Steelers to win this game after the Raiders coming off an emotional roller coaster last week in their game. Obviously, the refs literally gifted them a touchdown at the end of the game. Like, I don't know in what world.
There was another angle on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. It looked like he was in.
I mean, the angle I saw on TV looked like he was not in.
I saw something on Twitter. There was clear space between his foot and the end zone, or the sideline of the end zone.
I don't know. It literally looked like he was stepping on the.
Yeah, I agree. The broadcast looked bad. But I like Najee Harris anytime touchdown in this game.
Yeah, I actually agree with that one. Najee is going to be a good producer this week. He's been healthier and healthier every week. And the Steelers perform in prime time. They outplayed the Colts on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago. And yeah, I just think the Steelers are a better coached football team, and that'll show on Saturday night.
Most definitely.
So we got 3 Sunday games. We already talked about Dolphins, Packers, Rams, Broncos. We dabbled in briefly. I like the under in that game, but
in the Miami game?
No, in the Broncos Rams game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that too.
But Sunday Night Football, Buccaneers, Cardinals. Who do we like?
I think I like Tampa Bay minus 6.5. Honestly, Arizona's really banged up. Their defense has not been good this year. Yeah, I would take that for sure.
Yeah, I actually like the over in this game.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a low line. What is that, 41?
41.5.
I would take.
I like the over in this game. I like a lot of the overs this week. It's a low total week because of the temperatures. I don't think that's going to have as big of an effect as everyone thinks because we're not expecting like snow games. We're just expecting cold games.
Yeah, I mean, and weather really hasn't affected anything, it feels like. I mean, these guys are just going to go out and play as hard as they can no matter what.
Right. So now moving into Monday Night Football.
Oh, boy. I like Chargers minus 4.5. What can I say?
Wait, is Saturday to Monday considered a mini bye?
It would have to be like
a shortened mini bye.
It's like a petite bye.
A shortened mini bye.
Like a very short mini bye. It's a 1-day short mini bye.
Well, no, because they go
instead
of Sunday.
Yeah,
instead of
Sunday
Sunday to Sunday, they're going from Saturday to Monday.
They get 2 extra days.
I feel like that's like playing Friday to Sunday. That's an extra day from playing That's one shortened day from playing Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah. So it's a short mini bye.
It's a shortened mini bye.
Yeah, I don't really like anybody in this. I mean, maybe Austin Eckler touchdown. It feels like the Chargers short running backs always kill the Colts. Darren Sproles did it for years.
Yes.
And I think he's going to get in the end zone as well.
Yeah, I agree. I like. Did you see the Chargers political ad for Austin Eckler?
I did not. They want to get in the Pro Bowl.
What?
They want him to get in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, there's a whole Pro Bowl like political ad the Chargers posted on Instagram. And it's basically like like Austin Eckler is for working class Americans.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll post it on Twitter at Betting Den Pod. I mean, unless you've got another pick.
Yeah, I think that's the week.
That's all we've got for you. I mean, pretty unique episode format. We kind of went into more comments than we normally do. Let us know if you guys, would want us to do that in the future. Obviously, we'd love to answer some betting related questions too, if anybody has those, not just fantasy football related stuff. So if anyone has betting questions, we'd love to answer those on Twitter, or if you want to throw those in the comment box. That's all we got for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, have a great week 16. Good luck in your championship.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays to everybody.
Yeah, happy holidays, and we'll be back for an episode before the new year.
Yep.
All right.
Smell ya.